Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Uh, I must have done something because my picture did not come up when I did the scene for the opening.
Mm. All right.
I think the audio is still played. I'd have to do a playback on that. Fun fact, when you do OBS and you're having like your scene play, you cannot hear the audio. So you just kind of have to hope it's working, right?
There's a setting you can do that is both monitor and output, so that you can hear that stuff to make sure that it's working. I'll show you how to use it sometime.
I just go by if the bar is going.
Yeah, that'll do it too.
But yeah, I wonder why I did that. Maybe I deleted the picture by accident. I've done that before. I hope I didn't.
Oh yeah, I lock those on scenes to make sure that they can't do that.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't know. They've done some updates. I still don't like the way the audio bars are.
Yeah, I get that.
But anyway, we have a fun show for you this week. We're going to be talking primarily about, I guess we can call it the impending sale of TNA.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, if that happens,
Potential.
yeah,
Potential.
we'll go more in depth because I think we're gonna do the match first. But like, what I don't know about it is one, the debt. The debt I think is gonna be bad because I'm guessing they've been putting Anthem debt on TNA for a while now.
you know it. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
And as a company, they're in a weird place that I think is hard to buy into because like, I think a good counterexample is like when Billy Pumpkins bought the NWA. The NWA was a dead brand, so he could do whatever he wants with it. He could have started at any level he wanted with it and built the brand back up, which he did for a while and then kind of screwed up. But like, you can't really do that with TNA because TNA is of like a certain size, but it's not. The problem I think with TNA is like it's too big, but at the same time it's too small. Like it's in that limbo hell area where it's big enough that you need a certain name of talent. You're going to need to be on TV. You need a certain level of production value, but you're also at a size where that stuff is really expensive and you're not getting enough fans yet to justify it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think TNA, in the current position they're in, could have been fine if, gigantic if, they were in the position they were before they fired Scott D'Amore. If he was still running stuff and they were in this position, I kind of think that they would be all right.
If they were still Impact, I think they would have gotten a taker. Yeah.
They had a grasp on kind of having their own identity that way. And what they've got now just kind of... This is going to sound bad. And it's going to sound... The hell of it is that I'm not trying to make it sound bad. It's that... For example, their big star right now is Nick Nemeth, and I still like Nick Nemeth. The end on his WWE run was really bad for him, but I still like the guy. I appreciate his skill. I appreciate what he's good at.
And he's a name. He has a name that's like well liked. I think he I think like the last 5 or 6 years of his WWE deal, he lost some of his luster because he was like phoning it in. But like that is a guy, like if he was on the market and agreeable, like yeah, you're gonna build around him.
But TNA as it stands right now, and I will also fully admit, I'm not watching their stuff right now, but from what I'm picking up, what I hear, what's going on, all that good, everything going around, frankly, it smells desperate, is what it smells like to me.
There is where to start, really. It's the problems it's a litany. But let's go a little bit back in time because I get what you're saying. Because probably we said it on the show, but Brad and I, like back 21, 22,
Even 20.
maybe as late as like 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brad and I would actually talk about how like, well, they don't have like a huge roster, but they do the best, which they have an even smaller roster now, but they
I
did
mean,
the
they have no
best
roster
with,
now.
yeah, but they did the best with the roster that they had. And by that I mean like the booking was actually like fairly tight.
Yeah, like
And
it was the booking wasn't always good, but like you'd go in and like there'd be times where I'd just be like as a fantasy booker, I'd be like, God damn, this is so like the booking's so tight, like the way the programs intermixed. Like it was a lot like early NWA Power, where like it just had this really
yeah,
tight booking to it.
and yeah, and Scott Demore was booking that. And sometimes it wasn't like always what you want. Like they'd have a monthly pay-per-view, and like for example during the time it's like the champion was Rich Swann. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well that's different. And then maybe it's like, well, this month's pay-per-view challenger is going to be Moose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, not really excited. I don't think Moose is a great worker. Not really excited about this. But they build it enough that it's like, all right, well, I'm really excited about this match, but you built it well. And they, not every pay-per-view, but they actually did a run of those pay-per-views like in 21, 22, again, maybe 2023, that I know, like I bought them on Thriller, we used to be Fight TV, for like $10,
Mm-hmm.
$15. Not every
Yeah.
pay-per-view was like that. Some were obviously the more realistic price, like the 130, 40, whatever, how much they charge for those.
Like
And you have to pay that
the
extra,
big like
like
free,
Slammiversary. Yeah.
yeah, the really big ones. But
But
if you did the streaming service, you got all but the really big pay-per-views too. So I did
yeah,
that
but
sometimes.
if on like Fight or Triller, like one of like the more like regular pay-per-views, not their big pay-per-views, you could get it for like 10, $15. And sometimes like the booking was good enough that it's like $10, like you can go like, just making coffee at home versus buying a coffee. And
Yeah,
there
and it could
I've
be
saved the $10 that I can
it'd be
pay
like, well, I
to get
don't
this
have anything
pay-per-view.
to do. I don't have anything to do on this night, and oh, that card kind of
Yeah.
looks interesting. Like I'll buy it.
Yeah, it wasn't like fantastic. A lot of times I never bought the $30.
No,
You're not
never.
that good, but it was fine. Like it was, and they did the best. So we gave them kind of like praise, and I watched it. I watched it pretty consistently.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then like they got rid of Scott Demore,
I would say
and
they
that's
were
like 2 years ago at this point, I think.
yeah. No, they're
And
coming up on 2.5 years, I think.
okay, it was like definitely it's 2 years, maybe over. And after that, my interest like cratered. So I actually think that they moved nights, and when they moved nights, I think that, well, now they've changed entirely different network,
Yeah.
but I think they had moved nights before,
Yeah,
and it messed up like with like my DVR setting, and I was like, I'm not gonna just reset the DVR. I'm just gonna let that one go, and because I had lost interest at that point in watching it,
Yeah.
well,
at least
and
consistently.
I
So
think what happened is I seem to think what happened is they were losing money on Impact, which obviously I don't think it's only made money a couple years here and there. When they first started making house shows, and they might have made money like COVID year. I don't know. They haven't made money much, but they're having a couple years like that they have. But what what I think happened essentially is they were losing money and they weren't happy about it. And I think Scott Demore pretty much said, "Look, guys, you're in this place where you're gonna have to spend more money to like actually fix this problem." And they chose the get rid of Scott Demore and get someone that's just going to keep the status quo
yeah,
but spend less. So I think so like I said, they're in this weird they're in a weird place like size wise. And it's like complicated. I think most businesses that would be like in their range struggle.
Yeah.
well, there's been a lot of blame of AEW for many different reasons. AEW did hurt them in the set. In the last year, it's really like
I
hurt
would.
them because they've
My
taken
argument there was the Kenny Omega like 6 to 8 months they got probably did a shitload for them.
Oh, they actually drew really well, and I think they actually made some money on those pay-per-view buy rates because of Kenny being like on the pay-per-views. But I'm not even saying that. That's people try to be like, oh, the TNA the partnership they had with AEW was bad. It's like the most success that y'all have had in years, I can't tell you how many years, was because of that AEW partnership.
You got way more benefit out of that than you did the NXT partnership.
Well, but the NXT partnership, they never actually sent anyone from NXT that you would want to see.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if they had done, like if they had done like, which wouldn't have happened because he's on the main roster, but like, if they had done it like, we're sending Braun Breaker over and he's gonna have like a 6-month run with the TNA title, and there's gonna be some creative freedom with him, like that probably would have been good for them and like done well, but that's not what they got.
That's not what they got, but also they did the classic like flaw with invasion angles that always like ruins things, is that they had the invading force basically like run roughshod all over the homegrown talent and never really get their comeuppance. Which it's like, if you're gonna have the invading force, obviously to set up the drama and everything and to build towards it, you can have the invading force come in, just beat the shit out of everyone, and it's like, oh, we're dominant, and then you start chipping away at that because the homegrown faces and all that start making comebacks and they like get some victories and everything like that, and it builds towards a head. You know, even the NWO, as successful as it was, there was a huge invasion angle, and then it was hot, so it's like, oh, like let's keep it going. And I kept it going like 2-3 years,
way
like,
too
long past the expiration point. We're even way beyond that with the bloodline nonsense.
Yeah, but what
going
people
on in WWE, we're like,
but what people forget about the NWO is the NWO, like, if you got like legitimate one-on-one and you could keep the nonsense out, like they would get punked out pretty easy, and they were all individually cowardly, like.
And that is really like the way you have to do it. Like you can have them come in, you can have an invading force come in and be dominant, but they're almost always going to be heels, right? Like generally, or they're going to be perceived as such, even if they're not like explicitly like heelish. They're invaders. They would be sorts, but with me heel, and people don't understand the business, it seems. And I'm like, I've never been in the business like Shad, but it's like I watched it enough that people are like, oh, Dave Meltzer's never stepped in a ring. It's like you can come to a point where if you have seen things
I want to add to that. He doesn't talk about it much, but it came up in an old interview that Chris Zellner and David Bixenspan kind of came across in an interview. He actually did train in the FMW dojo in the 80s.
Yeah, I think I'd remember that he came out and it's like, yeah, I did some training. He never actually, became.
And the other thing is, you can't really bitch at him because Brian Alvarez is sitting there right next to him, and Brian Alvarez wrestled for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I've seen Brian Alvarez wrestle in person.
Yeah.
I've seen him in.
Speaking of last week, he had a well-known feud in the late aughts. Yep, he is because we saw the belt change hands once last week. He is a former ICW Texarkana television champion.
My thought. You can see and you could watch stuff long enough that you can kind of understand it and get it. You don't have to have I don't have to have stepped foot in a ring to have seen enough wrestling to at least get some very basic concepts. Like, because some of these concepts are basic. And part of the most basic concept of heels versus face is what happens. We've talked about it on the show before. It's like you have to have the heel show ass. They have to show ass and get their ass handed to them by the face at some point even if they like can come back and it's like, oh, now they're good. Now they got one over on the face again. They have to show ass. They have to get
Yeah.
their asses kicked at some point. Otherwise, where's the drama? And that's one of the many reasons why Triple H is a shit booker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's always just like heel dominates, heel dominates, heel dominates.
So
And usually the face
And
doesn't actually make any
I just want to
content.
add to something you
Their
said.
pun is stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get tired of the whole, well, you don't know, you're not in the business. Like, I'm sorry, but like sometimes I think that's actually an advantage to analysis, especially with wrestling, because like honestly, I may use a lot because it's true. There are a lot of people in the business that don't know their head from their ass when it comes to anything about wrestling. Like some of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard have come from people involved in wrestling.
So item 1, I don't like that that criticism because I'm not in the movie business, but I can tell you if a movie sucks.
Yeah.
Do I have to be in the movie business to be able to do that? Do I have to work in television to tell you that a show is awful? That's not a criticism that holds water anywhere else.
Do I have to be an artist to say like, hey, that guy has 6 fingers, like you did it wrong?
Yeah. If I'm going to give credit for anything, if you're gonna say, hey, that match, that thing that happened shouldn't have happened, I could go, look, you haven't been in there, you don't know what that's like. I can see what happened. Cut that guy a break. But that's different than going, man, this show stinks, the story stinks.
To that, I don't think she's a good worker, but so that's a recent controversy in the last couple of days. Like there was a house show match that where I think it was like a tag team match, but
Yeah,
Sol
it was, but
Ruca
it was
and the
so
WWE injured Liv Morgan. I think she not a serious injury, but she injured her. In
no,
the match
she thankfully
Yeah.
was not hurt bad. But if you haven't seen it, what happened is Sol Ruca did kind of like a springboard crossbody because Sol Ruca does too much flippy shit, which I know that's an old man thing, but she literally doesn't do like the basics well, but so what happened is she did
ends with a Z.
She did
Yes.
she did a springboard crossbody because she has to overcomplicate everything. Didn't look or anything, and then was completely off target and landed pretty much on Liv's ankles. And like there were a lot of people trying, because Sol Ruca, I guess, has a big simp audience, even though she sucks. Because she's so great, but like every single one of her main roster matches has been like absolutely ass. So that tells me it's like the Tiffany Stratton thing where like she's so good and I'm like, okay, then why are her matches bad? But so it started a whole holy civil war between Liv Morgan simps and Sol Ruca simps. And my takeaway was, because there are people trying to blame Liv, saying she was out of position. And I saw the clip and I'm like, no. She was maybe a little too far away, but if you're going to do that move, you need to be able to connect with her in the spot she was in. Because she was not far enough away. And if she was too far away, then just don't do the move.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, it's not that Liv was out of position, it's that she wasn't turned properly for it. She hadn't turned into it. But then 2, Sol Ruca didn't look. She just, from the clip that I saw, she just jumped onto the rope to do a turning springboard crossbody. She didn't check first. She didn't look over her shoulder. She just did it.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that you don't have any idea if somebody's ready. You're just trusting that I'm going to jump, someone's going to catch me, and you get that Tom Zink, splash to nobody kind of effect. And
well, yeah, because Liv's not a mind reader in that situation. Like, Liv might think she's in the right spot, and you need to look.
Yeah. Well, and Sol Ruca gets called up, and her stuff immediately goes to pot because her environment has shifted entirely.
And
like she is no longer doing. They're not rehearsing the match all week, and so she's no longer doing that, and that rattled her enough that for, I don't know, what was it, a month, she couldn't even do her finish. And the sheer cope that I saw about that. It's like, no, man, that was the story, that she couldn't actually hit it until that big moment for it. I'm like, dude, no, that ain't
She
that
could
ain't
barely
shit.
hit it in NXT. She could barely do it in NXT.
I've expressed before with you guys like that she has a shit finish. It's
Oh
terrible.
no, it doesn't
and
even look like
it's
it
not
hurts.
it's not just her. It's like I don't like any finish that requires the person taking it to have too much involvement in making sure the move connects and looks good
Yep, and
for it to be. And I'm not talking like Ric Flair throws on the figure four and it's like, yeah, it can be up to your opponent to be like flailing around selling it. I'm talking like if you have to like
if you have to
put
stand there
yourself
looking
in the
like
position.
if you have to
Yeah.
stand there looking like a brain dead Neanderthal for 30 seconds watching them like do this
On the
convoluted,
ropes.
yeah.
Yeah, and then she does it, and you, to make it look good, you have to like dive yourself
Yeah.
forward with the correct timing to make it like, no, it's a bad move. It's a bad move.
Like the
that
lethal
people have hyped.
injection, whatever, because someone was praising like a GCW one, and I was like, no, it looked terrible. It was like a rebound cutter, but anything like that. The only time, like, I mentioned it today, but like the one time I thought the lethal injection looked cool as shit was he did it, and Orange Cassidy like stood up into it. So he caught him like right as he was getting to his feet, and it looked cool as shit. But that's like but like a lot of times it's just the guy sitting there like, duh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's-
if my inner monologue is the Vulture from Bugs Bunny cartoons, then you failed.
No.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys said it. It's a bad move. That should not be a finish. If that was like a rare spot for a big match, all right, fine, I guess. But it's not a good finish.
No,
And-
where she's a bad worker is people get really hyped because she does flips and like athletic stuff. But I've never seen
She's
her.
athletic.
I've never seen her do like the basic skeletal things you need to do. Like, for as much as I shit on Will Ospreay because he does overcomplicate things at times, like Will Ospreay, I've actually seen in his younger days, and when he needs to, he can do the basic skeletal things that like tie a match and a worker together, which I've never seen Sol Ruka do.
Ospreay understands how to have a basic match. The thing that aggravates me is that, I mean, God, the guy can't quit. He just stops selling, and then when he stops selling, it's like, then what are we even doing?
He's gotten better. I will give
He's
Ospreay
gotten
credit.
a little better, and this storyline with the Death Riders has, I think, helped him, because what's that story been? Is like, hey man, don't.
I think
You're trying to do too much.
I think
get a grip.
I think where he turned a corner for me big time was the Kyle Fletcher program and that cage match they had, because my problem when he first started in AEW is like I loved everything else, like his build up to programs, his promos, the angles he would do, like that one, that one with like all the blood and his reaction to it, like early in his AEW run was like great, and then I'd be like, oh man, the match is gonna let me down. And then the cage match didn't let me down. And then I was like, oh, like his matches aren't my favorite, but like he's actually delivering on the match part too now. Because like I like the Swerve match he had, the Page match last year. I think he's
Swerve and Ospreay versus the Bucks was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. But I think like, and it's spoiler for later, but like I think someone that really, two guys that really have always gotten it right for as much shit as they take as the Young Bucks. They understand, like they do the flippy stuff that they get shit on for, but they do all of the other stuff right. Like they stooge really well, they sell well. You know what? And the match we're gonna do, which is them versus the Colony at High Noon. The other thing they do really well that they don't get enough credit for is they're really creative at setting up spots that thwart their big moves.
They're good at setting up spots to do their big moves and good at setting up spots to counter their own big moves. And well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But like I think they're excellent at that. I think Phoenix and Penta were at one point. Um, especially in AEW as the Lucha Brothers, I think they were really good at having that, like, they weren't as good, but they had, like, especially Penta had a lot. Penta has a lot of charisma that lets you forgive, like, the dumb shit he does. Like, Penta is a good example of when you have a lot of charisma, you don't have to do everything well because people forgive you. But yeah, she's not very good. Like, I think Tiffany Stratton's the same issue. I think Tiffany Stratton is a better wrestler, and I think she has more potential, but she has bad training. Like, she has the DNA of a good wrestler, but like her shortcomings come up a lot, and I think like that Charlotte program kind of ruined her.
I could see that. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
I think she's like regressed some, and someone who's progressed even more is Roxanne Perez.
Oh yeah, she
was a good worker and now is like I don't even know that I would say that. But as an aside, since we're talking about Sol Ruca, like I think it was somewhat of a defense. But did you see where Ibu, this whole like long post?
No.
I saw it, but I didn't.
Twitter,
I didn't go into it.
The gist of it, basically, the general gist of it was like, you know, you have people like Sol Ruca and other people like generally speaking, like in the WWE, like maybe now you're having some more house shows and everything like that because you realize like people need actually experience. But the gist of Evo's statement was it's like, well, like guys need reps, they need reps to get better, and it's like that's generally true. Like back in the day, you'd have guys because that was their livelihood, their living. Even guys who were just coming up, like they'd go out and they'd wrestle like, 200, 300 nights a year. Like they'd be out there just cranking it out. And of course they would get, it's sink or swim almost, where it's like you got to get better, or at least get to a certain level of good.
That's why.
And it may not be like, you're a world class like worker, but it's like, how to do everything like that, where you can go out there and work the crowd and everything like that, even if what you're doing is like you're just trading body slams and punches.
There's a good Scott Steiner interview that backs that up. It's with him and Ron Simmons, and he was talking about to go along with your story, like he wanted to team with his brother, but he sucked because he had started later. He wasn't good, so he's like, you know what I did? He's like, I went to Memphis because they didn't pay me a damn thing, but I got to work every night. And he said I went there for a year. He's like, I got really good really quick because I was working every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's his general premise, and it's like, well, yes, you're right, but there was a couple lines in there. I'm like, you've highlighted the problem. He's like, well, people like Sol Ruca and everything like that, like they're in the main roster now, and it's like they don't have time to rehearse, and sometimes they're gonna forget like what to do. And it's like, you've highlighted the problem. Like they should be at before they get to the main roster, and that's part of his argument. He's like, you're having people simultaneously get trained and also like, hey, you're on TV now, you're a TV worker, you need to like learn all that. And it's like, maybe he's kind of emphasizing some points where it's like you're highlighting problems where I think maybe these people shouldn't be on TV, they should actually learn how to work.
Well, I think that's
and then put you on TV.
I think that's a fair defense of her, though, of Sol Ruca, is yeah, they don't train her properly in NXT. They have her rehearse for a match all week that she knows in and out, and then they throw her on the main roster with 10 minutes that she doesn't get to rehearse, and like, oh, you'll be fine. And then it's like everyone's like shocked Pikachu face when it's a fucking train wreck because she doesn't know what to do.
They set her up to fail.
Yeah, but that is not her fault though. That is a systematic. No, but like, but the thing is, if you're Sol Ruca,
defense of her,
yes, it is.
Defense of her, but it's also like she shouldn't be on TV. And if someone says like she sucks, bro, then it's like, accept it. Like she's not good, and I don't know.
Well, she is, but it's not her fault. Like
until she figures out. Not to be old school, but it's like learn how to call it in the ring. Once you know how to actually put a match together, then I'll actually they actively have time to rehearse. Like that's the flaw. She should not have to rehearse.
But that's still not her fault though, because like how is she supposed?
I think it's her fault.
But like,
it's also like,
but I'm saying it is.
She shouldn't be on TV.
Well, no, she shouldn't. But I'm saying that's the problem with their system though, because like yes. she needs to learn to call it in the ring to be a good worker, but they actively discourage that.
Mhm.
Because there's other things they should do too, because like that's why I thought like the ID program should have been sending NXT talent to other promotions, because I think there's other things that they because I know Hugbox is overused, but like they run NXT like a Hugbox, because I think there's other things that they should do, because I think literally there's learning experiences they don't get, because I think like because Shad and I made the joke before, but it's like, hey Shad, like you need to do 12 minutes with Grafs McGee tonight, and Shad's like, yeah, but he sucks ass and he can't do 12 minutes. Like, well, a guy canceled, like you got to fill the time.
No, I've done that. I did that, okay?
Or
I had those kinds of matches. I had to think for both of one. There are a few times I had to think for all three of us, because we had that one ref who would get lost in the, get lost in a cardboard box. So I'm having to think for all three of us, and it's like, how long do you want this to go? 10, 12 minutes. All right, fine. So you know what a big part of that is? I'm dicking around for a while.
yeah, or
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what do you do with that sort of thing? You just like start stalling to the outside, like
or there's
you pull a
Well,
Larry Zbyszko. Do you pull a
and-
Larry Zbyszko, or you lock up and you like, he pulled my hair, ref, and you get powder and you start strutting around the ring. Like,
don't
it was
get-
even
all right,
harder
I killed
because
3 minutes just doing
I
that.
was the face.
or you don't get like there's a good Kevin Nash story about this. He was just starting out in WCW, and like there was a blizzard or something, so like only 8 people made it through, and so they're like, okay, you and Ricky Morton are going 20 minutes. He's like, I haven't even had like a 5-minute match yet, and I have to go 20. And Ricky Morton's like, oh, I got you, brother. Like, I'll take care of you. And he did. And there was a funny,
Yeah.
I was listening to a Scott Hall story when he was like first in the AWA, and they did this time limit draw with Larry Zbyszko. And he's like, he gave me a lot, which he didn't need to do, but he's like, we're doing this, and like the bell rings, and he was like, he did like, you do the pin spot, but like you just miss it. And then like, so they're doing it, and then the bell rings, and Larry Zbyszko's just like, jump up like you beat me. And so he did
Yeah.
that, like got really over, and he's like, yeah, usually guys act dumb, and he's like, Zbyszko took care of me in that moment, because I wouldn't have thought to do that, and he just told me to. So you miss out on stuff like that, but I do think like they insulate them from failure, which they still fail on TV a lot because they fuck up a lot. But like,
Yeah.
it's I think people defend her incorrectly, which I do think it would be fair to say, look, that her training was absolute dog shit. She's not a good worker, but like, it's not. She sucks, but it's not her fault, because she is a system that sets their workers up for failure. Unless you're Braun Breaker, and then like Sami Zayn like grabs you the second you come up and undoes all that shitty NXT training you got.
Braun Breaker had the benefit of having family that could also get on the horn with him and go, knock it off.
Yeah, well,
Don't do that.
And like I said, the second he came up to the main roster, like Sami Zayn like grabbed him immediately and was like, no, we're gonna fix this stuff, because he was regressing in NXT, and once they got him up to the main roster, he got better, because like workers helped him.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
also
think
kind of wonder if he was like, if he was in NXT and he's like, God, am I still here?
what
And so
I don't
that
think and I think
affected his work.
I think the other problem is the women's side, they've gotten rid of a lot of those people. So like, unless like Bailey is grabbing you and taking her under your wing, like, which she can only do for so many people, like there's not like a ton of that talent there.
I can't think of a single like female like veteran necessarily that you could point to
Bailey.
that would actually. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know that she's like heavily involved with like the NXT. I mean, I assume that Sarah Del Rey might still be in round somewhere, but I mean,
No, she's like
what's she
gone.
gonna?
She got
Oh,
let
she's
go.
gone. What?
She got let go in the She got let go in the COVID thing. I don't think they ever brought her back.
It's like who gonna actually like train those women. I mean, it's great. Again, you can have like very athletic people, and that's what they're doing. Like their idea is just to just get these NIH people, and it's like, oh, like you could have 100 people, and maybe out of the 100, like one will be good and actually make it, and the rest will just like wash out because some people just can't, as athletic as they could be, they can't get it. Like
Well,
that's the uniqueness. I don't like giving him props, but that's the uniqueness and what does make him special. But CM Punk is a guy who's not athletic, but he gets wrestling like that. Like he understands wrestling.
The thing is that
I don't think he's one of the best wrestlers of all time that people, like
That's-
some of his fans make him out to
no.
be, but he gets wrestling. He gets it.
and he's, for his lack of athletic talent, he really has got, like, I hate his guts, and I hate to give him credit, but for his lack of athletic ability, he's gotten very far in wrestling, and I think you're gonna miss those guys.
Yeah, the thing about this, we're just going to grab NIH people and do it, is what you're trying to say is, oh, we can teach anybody to wrestle. It's like, look, there are some people that are never going to get it. What was it? The story was what? Tom McGee? Was that the guy's name that had that match with Brett? And Vince thought he was going to be the big thing, and as it turned out, Brett was the one that made all that work. Like, you just can't do that. You can't just be like, oh, we're going to get athletes and teach them how to be wrestlers. It's like, how much time are you going to waste on this? Because you're going to waste a lot.
It's like when Gable Stevenson came in and everyone was like, had a big old boner for him because of his like credentials. And I think I even said on the shows, like, I don't care. He has to prove he can actually do pro wrestling, because like amateur skill does not translate to wrestling skills, because you have to have an aptitude for it. And guess who washed out?
Yeah. Because Kurt Angle and Chad Gable can do it, how many other amateur wrestling guys have you had come through that can't do it?
Yeah.
And just off the top of my head. Who's that?
Or MMA guys too.
Yeah, perfect example off the top of my head. And try as he might, and the guy worked hard for it, but Ron Waterman never got it put together. And so it's Ron Waterman didn't, and then I think Cain Velasquez did some stuff in Mexico, but
he was good
really...
though. No, but he was good.
Okay.
He did a couple matches in Mexico, looked awesome, and then WWE brought him in, and they were like, "No, don't do the lucha stuff."
Yeah, well, no, they brought him in to do fake MMA with Lesnar, so Lesnar could get his win back.
No, but Cain Velasquez, like, for his knees being destroyed, because he did some AAA shows, I think they were. He looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like he was shockingly good for like no experience. But like I think he's probably a guy that understood lucha, because I think it helps guys when they grow up as fans, because they get and I think and the thing is,
there's a lot that goes into wanting to do it right, as opposed to like this NIL guy's like, yeah, sure, I guess I can do that. What do you want me to do? I don't care the why. Just tell me go do stuff.
And like, I think selling is a hard concept if you don't like understand wrestling. But I also think there's things like that, you might be a good athlete, but you might not necessarily have the flexibility to be able to bump or like do all that stuff and look good doing it. Because there's a lot of like super athletic football players that have come in that have looked like crap.
Yeah. How many for every... Okay, I need to rephrase. I believe that the dearth of talent that came off of the West Texas State college football team fried a lot of people's expectations for what football players could do in wrestling. Because that was the Funks, that was Stan Hansen, that was Bruiser Brody,
Tully,
that was Ted DiBiase, that was
Tito.
Tully. Yeah, all those guys. So... I'm like, just because that worked that was a confluence of immense talent that all got together.
Well, Wahoo was
That's not.
Wahoo was a football player. Watts was a football player. Because that's how Bill Watts got in. Is he saw how big Wahoo's wrestling check was.
Yeah.
Luger, Ron Simmons,
But-
but like Ron Simmons was a freak because like they played each other in college, and Luger was like, yeah, he was like big in a way that guys weren't big back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's.
Mark Henry took forever, but he got there.
But Mark Henry wasn't a football player. Mark Henry was a power lifter.
But he was an athlete, though. I think Kurt Angle broke their brains too, because Kurt Angle had his problems as a worker too, though.
Angle was doing dark matches and house show stuff for a year before he appeared on TV, fine-tuning his stuff. He didn't show up, he didn't get signed and then immediately go on TV as a finished product. He took like a whole year having matches, doing mic work, working the gimmick, all that sort of stuff before he showed up on TV.
He was pretty good, pretty quick, though. I mean, we watched that Power Pro stuff with him, and he was...
Yeah. But that doesn't... No matter how talented you are out of the gate... Sorry, excuse me. He had a year of getting practical training in front of live crowds before they put him on TV.
Yeah, because like there are guys, we talk about them every now and then, like your Sean Waltmans, your Terry Gordy. There was someone else recently. There are those people,
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, that are like come out and well, Jeff Jarrett doesn't count because Jeff Jarrett like was a third generation wrestler.
Yeah, and that's. I've heard some people say it's like, why is it so important that this is a second or third generation wrestler? It's like because they got family that'll teach them.
Well,
like, there's so much more than just getting in the ring and learning how to bump and do stuff.
And like especially, I bet like Jarrett was involved. He was a ref for a while. I bet he's going to the matches like forever. So like you also get like that practical like I want to watch Daddy wrestle.
Yeah, and as you get older, you start understanding more and more about what works and why it works.
And like I'm gonna be honest, like if you, I mean, I think that's why Eddie Gilbert was so good. But like if you're growing up watching Jerry Lawler work every week, like you're
probably learning some stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
But like I think they just set their people up for failure, and they need to.
I absolutely do. Because even the biggest success in the last few years coming up out of NXT would have been Breaker. And he's an anomaly. Not only was he a freakish athlete, but I mean, he's the son and nephew of the Steiner brothers. So he's going to skew your curve on that.
But there's been other guys.
If you take him out of the equation, look at who else they brought up and then gone, okay, how well have they done? And I'm be willing to bet there's not a lot that have done very well.
I think they have too many people per trainer too is another problem. But like look at I can't even think of his name. The big guy that went to AEW and really didn't amount to much, but he did get better. I don't remember his name though.
You have to be a little more specific than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name either, and he had a dumb name in NXT.
What did he do?
He was just a big guy that would do like power moves, and then I think they got rid of him in like 2021 or 2022.
And he came to AEW?
Yeah, and he'd do a lot of dark matches and stuff. I don't think he ever made it to TV or past like ROH.
Was he linked with Swerve for a minute?
Maybe? I don't remember.
Is this Parker?
Parker Boudreaux. Parker Boudreaux.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, thank
so
you.
Okay, I thought that's who you're talking about. So I don't know if I haven't seen anything recently he's done. So I don't know if he's like gotten better. But I will give him credit. Like he's a guy who, his name I think in WWE was Harland. Like he looks visibly. He looks like a younger, smaller, more tatted version of Brock.
Yeah, he looks like Timu Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
No,
so,
that's unfair. He looks like Dollar General Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know specifically what his story is, but it's almost like but right before WWE signed him, there was all this like hype and everything. It's like, are your parents famous that you like? There's all this
Yeah.
like push for you because he seemed almost like an industry plant, like nepo baby hire or something. But it's like I don't know that he's like has any famous rich people that are like
I think it was his look.
I am so and so's cousin or I'm so and so's nephew or so and so
People get really. I think it was his look, honestly.
of J.P. Morgan. It's like my dad. I don't
But
know. I know that he has continued wrestling like overseas. He's been doing stuff like in Asia. I don't know if he's doing anything in Japan. I know he's been like working in India with I think Great Khali's like company or something associated. So it's like I will give him credit. I don't know if he's improved, but he's kept with it.
he,
So it's like maybe he's gotten better.
I,
He's at least like doing what he can to get better. And it's like
I saw him
I
work.
commend that.
I saw him work a dark match, and he'd been there for a little while, and he wasn't good, but he was better. Like you could see,
And
and another one, they fixed Ty Conti. I thought she sucked for the longest time, and like she's still not great, but like she made strides in AEW.
yeah,
She's a lot better than she was.
And she didn't. She's okay. Like I don't think she like I was really high on her early, but like Anna Jay hit like a wall, and she never got better when she
I'm
needed
gonna
to.
say that she did. She got better, and she stalled out for a long time. And then after she did an excursion in Japan, I think
The
was it
Stardom,
Stardom?
the 5 star, she did.
Yeah, she did those and came back, and she was moving more fluidly. Her stuff looked better. Like it was an all around improvement.
But
But we
people didn't
also just
care by that point too.
people were so locked in with the oh she's not any good, and it's like she's better. She's definitely better.
this is where I will give someone like Ibu some grace or credit is that does kind of point towards like the reps. Like
Hmm.
I don't think Anna Jay is very good. I do agree like she did improve with the Stardom stuff, but like that's a great example where it's like, oh, you see, you went and you had some reps with some very talented workers,
Hmm.
and it actually helped improve you for a bit. But then what did you do? Like she hasn't really done a lot
Well,
since then.
she
Like
gets hurt a lot too, though. That slowed her
she gets
down.
hurt a lot, so that's a consideration. But it's also like take someone like Sky Blue, who is not like at your top level, but she is not that bad of a worker. But she like was out there doing indies. She was always working on AEW TV, like doing matches and everything before. That's before like she joined up with Tekla and the Sisters of Sin stuff. But like she was out there doing a lot of reps and like she actually improved a lot. Anna Jay, like I don't know, like I haven't seen her do like indie stuff and all that. And again, if you're injured, you're injured. But like I don't, someone like Sky Blue has done a lot of work outside of AEW to improve, and I don't see like Anna Jay having
I,
done that really.
Anna Jay got signed really early, so I kind of wonder if she got
Yeah.
a little snooty. But I also think maybe Sky Blue seems to have real passion for what she does.
No, yeah, she does. Like she's someone who absolutely like loves wrestling. I mean, someone found a picture from like years ago. I mean, she's not that old. She's in her 20s, but it's from years when she was probably like a teenager, like 17, 18 maybe. And it's her like with that he was in like the WWE at that point with Moxley.
Yeah.
So she's like taking a picture with Moxley, and it's like years later, of course, they're like coworkers working in the same
That
company.
makes me feel so old. That it's like,
And
So
oh,
she's
this.
doing like hardcore spots just like Moxley.
so that came from an interview somebody asked her about.
Mm.
And the thing that was so fun about that is she tells the story that oh yeah, she went and got to meet him and now they're coworkers, but she was always nervous to go talk to him. I get that, okay? Even let's bolt of lightning, all of a sudden I'm better, I'm in ring shape, and I've got a contract in hand. I go there and I see all these people who are like nationally known, and I'm gonna be like, probably don't want to bother them. You know, let me go talk to some other folks for. But then, whenever they did the Women's Blood and Guts, he's like, "Oh, hey, come on, let me talk to you. Let's talk about what you're going to do. Let's work through this." And that opened the door for her to be able to be willing to go and talk to him and pick his brain about stuff.
I get what you're saying, but like if all the people like Moxley would actually, I understand that because of he's been multiple time world champion and he's been like your ace of the promotion, like at several points, and is a big star. Like I get the inclination to be like, oh man, I don't want to bother him, but would be one of those guys that's like, no, you him because he seems has such a passion for wrestling.
Yeah.
And is a nerd about wrestling that you could probably go up to him and be like, hey man, like I know you're busy. I want to pick your brain about like this idea I got, like what I want to incorporate with my character or a spot I want to do in a match, stuff like that. And unless he had to go do something, you know, I think he would probably find the time. He'd probably find the time where it's like, yeah, because he would probably be like, oh yeah, you would talk about wrestling. Oh, you have a hardcore spot you want to do? Like, oh, you want to work on your character? Like, let's talk about it.
You're also a very cute girl. I think a lot of guys are gonna have a minute for you.
Be kind of inclined.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let's say that scenario took place and I'm there. The way that I'm going to approach stuff is I'm going to wait until they're not like actively doing something, and I'm going to say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry for bothering you, but I was hoping at your convenience to be able to ask some questions and pick your brain a little bit, if you'd be willing to do that. If not, you're busy. I understand you got a lot going on, but if you ever would be, I would really appreciate being able to do that." And like you said, Mox is going to be like, you know, let's talk for a minute, you know, prop his boots up on the table or something and kick back and be like, yeah, man, let's see what's going. Or here's the other thing that I suspect is there's not a lot of people who are going to the folks that they may not be top of the card, but they shared. It would be a lot easier to approach like Claudio and talk to him probably because he's doing stuff a lot, but
you could bribe Claudio with Starbucks, so you have that going for you.
Oh no, I've got the perfect way to get Claudio is to say, Claudio, I would love to be able to pick your brain sometime. Here's my Helldivers ID. If you want to do some dives together, you know, be happy to do that. That way you're not teaming with randos. You know, speak nerd to Claudio, and you probably got an in.
There's a funny, just speaking of stuff like that, there's a funny Brody Lee story I heard him tell around the time he died when I was going back. But he was going to work a match with Kevin Nash, and someone was like, well, let's go meet him. Like, let's go meet him so you can meet him before you work with him. And he was all nervous about it. And I guess they go to his hotel room, and they get in there, and he introduces himself, and Nash just, like, kicks a chair, but he's like, get a beer out of the like freezer and sit your ass down. And I guess they just hung out forever, like just shooting the shit and stuff.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But I think a lot of those guys, unless they're an asshole, are like generally agreeable, and especially like especially if you're allowing them stroking their ego a bit and letting them talk about themselves. I think a lot of those guys are pretty agreeable to that.
So part of that is also not rolling up and just demanding on their time. The respect aspect comes into play, where the reason I chose the phrasing I did was I'm not making demands. I'm making a request at your convenience for something specific. And if you're willing to do that with me, awesome. And if you're like, look, man, I appreciate you asking me. I'm covered up right now. If you don't take it personally, you say, okay, thank you for your time, and maybe we can do it some other time.
And I think if you're on like an indie show, like especially for like, you know, those older guys, like Ricky Morton that doesn't work there very often, he's coming in for a one shot. Like, I bet someone coming up and be like, hey, I have a couple questions. Like, oh, thank God someone's talking to me. And not being
I don't
weird.
know, man. I don't know. That's one of those things that I'd have to like feel out in the moment and just kind of see how things are. Because if they're sitting there and it's like they're just kind of tired and they don't want to talk to anybody, then just leave him alone. He might not be having a good night. But
Yeah, but some of those guys I think just like to talk too.
well, yeah, you're not going to get into wrestling and not be willing to talk to people. Sorry, that's
Because I know
that's
Claudio had like a super early into his career like experience with the Honky Tonk Man where they did something,
Ah,
and like he had the
hmm.
European uppercuts. And he said he went to something else, and Honky Tonk Man remembered. He's like, wait, you're the guy that had those like really great European uppercuts at this thing, and it impressed everyone.
yeah. I one of the ways I knew that one of the indie vets that I had to deal with was not anybody I was going to get shit from is I went to throw a European uppercut in a match, and he went, "What the hell was that you were doing?" It's a European uppercut. He goes, "Nobody knows what that is." I'm like, "It's on TV all the time." Yeah, don't do that. Nobody knows what that is. I'm like,
That's been on TV
it's
since the
like
mid
okay,
'90s.
it's like go sit your fat ass down.
William Regal does it. That was like his signature spot, and he's been
William
around.
Regal and Fit Finlay did it. That was like
93.
William Regal and Fit Finlay feud where they did that to each other for like 5 minutes out of a 15-minute match.
Well, Regal's been on TV since '93.
Yeah, the point that it goes back to why I don't trust indie vets much. There are some of them that have it. How do I pick my words? Some of them have it more together than they don't. But there's also a lot of, well, I've beat that drum
But
before.
like,
Never mind.
you know what I don't get about indie vets, and I'm gonna use Ric Flair as an example. When these indie vets get all like, "Well, I don't want to do that," like I have seen now hundreds, maybe even thousands of Ric Flair matches, and a lot of him working with like a local guy that wasn't well known. And the
Mm-hmm.
impression I get a lot from Ric Flair is Ric Flair did not tell people no a lot. Like he made sure to incorporate the stuff they did and make it look good. I don't think Flair was like, well, I don't know what a European uppercut is. He'd be like, oh, okay, like I'll sell this like it's death. I don't think I don't think Flair did stuff like that.
What's that? I mean, he would get in trouble. Like they'd be like, "Why did you have to go 45 minutes with George South?" Like,
Yeah.
why'd you have to give this like scrub like 20 minutes to make like actually sell for him? And it's like, oh, I liked working with him, and it'd be like some like at best like mid card guy in the territory.
Yeah. But we've gotten a bit afield, but like let's hit the TNA sale a little harder. So I think
Well, hold
this
on. Let me finish my thought that we widely digress from. Is that one of the reasons why they're also in the shape they're in? Because they had the NXT partnership, but it was like the NXT just kicked the shit out of them. You had the title on Trick Williams for forever, and then
you had the other guy
it
who I
never really
can't remember
panned.
his name, like Chance Tatum or like some name like that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the third wheel in like the Tony D'Angelo family.
Stack.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I forget his actual ring name. It's like it is like Channing something, but Stacks is like
Yeah.
yeah. It's like you had scrubs of NXT like beating your main roster, and it's like no one cares about this now. Like you're cucking out your own talent.
Yeah.
And then in the last year, you've had a lot of people leave uh, for AEW, and people try to blame Tony Khan. Like, oh, Tony Khan. It's like if their contracts were up, it's fair game. Like it's fair game for anyone. And
Yeah.
even the WWE, if the WWE wants them, like they can offer them money.
They didn't
And
sign
that's
that.
actually what happened with Motor City Machine Guns, who obviously have left the WWE now, but that's what happened with them. Like their contracts were up. It's like they can go to AEW or WWE. They went
Well,
to
and
WWE,
I
but
think you
a
can't.
lot of guys have gone to AEW.
Yeah, because like if you're in TNA, I think it's kind of precarious. I don't think they're offering long-term deals, and I think you would take stability like with WWE or or AEW. Because that's what happened with ECW. Like guys would bail because like they weren't getting paid and they wanted job security. And I would have to think it feels like a sinking ship to a degree if you're in TNA.
It to me, it's never felt more like a sinking ship than right now.
No, it does because like I know they do okay on A&E and but they can't, they're still having that problem where people don't want to buy. But like, so what I saw, I think, was the asking price is 30 million, but they're hoping for 40 or 50. And I think the word toxic debt was used, so like you have to take on the debt. um I'm gonna guess the debt is probably, I'm just spitballing and I don't know, but I'm gonna guess the debt is probably gonna be double whatever you pay for it, or about that. So you're probably taking on, we'll be conservative and say you're taking on 20 or 40 million dollars of debt. So essentially you're looking at for 50 to 100 million if you're factoring in the debt.
Let's
And that can
let's
be
lowball.
complicated because the debt can have, you don't know what the interest rates are. That can really, because so if you don't know, like when people get into leveraged buyouts and like what sinks places like Toys R Us is you hit a point where you can't pay the interest for your debts with your revenue anymore. Is where a lot of companies go.
Let let's just for the sake of argument, let's go with the lower end of that. So they want 30 million, and let's say it's like 20 millions of toxic debt. So it's like this to get TNA, it's like a $50 million
Yeah.
investment that you'd have to do. It's like, well, you don't have
And you're
like
getting
the
Nick
roster
Nemeth
that you do.
essentially. You're essentially getting Nick Nemeth, which I think is the only one you can dependably say you have for any amount of time.
I've been constantly confused, and I understand now, like with the WWE ID thing, that they're like messing with that too. But I've been constantly confused where it's like, if you're TNA, like why don't you try to get like just talented indie guys, and try and build them up and like make new stars and all that? It's
Because I think
that
I
you can
think
get.
you need a mix. You do need like you need
I think you need a mix, but I mean, you need like also rank and file guys. So
and it's a
I don't know, you try
problem
to
though
build
because
people up.
like I think when AEW came around, like, and I think people still don't get that to a degree, but like the Bucks and Kenny Omega and like Cody, all those guys had built a name for themselves on the indies, and you don't really have like, I mean, I wouldn't expect people to have built their names up to that degree, but like you don't have really anyone you can get that's built their names up.
Mhm.
Like you have I don't even know, like, because I mean, like I know MLW has like all the bridge burners in their promotion right now, but even there,
Mhm.
like they don't get great numbers for their YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
I think they get by, but like, well, MLW kind of is a mid promotion and everything under delivers, but like I don't know what you do because like you do need, the problem is you do need recognizable names, but you also need, like Matt said, you need to get those indie names and build them up, which they've done a little bit, but there isn't like, they also need guys like, I think Mike Santana is like perfect for them because
Yeah.
we've talked about him where like he really works in that, and he's like, he's got a good, that's our guy vibe that I don't think he can do in WWE or AEW because he needs like that more intimate setting. He needs like more TV time to do that. Like that is like the kind of guy that works well for them, but like he's gonna go to WWE. And like if he doesn't go to WWE, like AEW might come sniffing around again. But
Yeah.
that's the niche we were talking about with Impact though, was where it kind of worked for them because they became the place where that's where you go between WWE and AEW. Like that's where you go, like if you had a bad run, or like, it's like where Steve Macklin came off of being in like the Forbidden Sons and proving like, yeah, I don't suck. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of guys they used to get that I don't see as
Yeah.
much anymore.
And there are guys that, like, even with AEW, that if they were to leave, like Santana was a great example, because like he can go and become like a star in TNA. And there's probably some other guys there that could in AEW that could leave and like do a little better, probably. Like the Dark Order guys, like they're at this point they're not doing anything. They're still on the
Yeah,
roster,
or like
but
when
I think they're
they're not.
doing Ring of Honor
I'll
stuff.
use a good example of someone that they could have signed was Slim J. You could have gotten him. Like I don't think he would have been like a needle mover, but that's someone you could have put on your roster that's pretty good and, can take up some TV time for you. And might, you never know, like he might, like he's had success like in the South, like you might, hit on something with him. Or,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other people they've let go recently. But I think they want like those bigger splash names. They don't want to take like those. And they
Well,
also don't have a wrestling guy in charge right now, so I don't even think they know who to sign anymore.
that's true. But here's another name that I just thought of that I don't think really was an option. That it's like, because I think that once like he became under Tony Khan's radar, like Tony Khan, I'm pretty sure has signed him to a deal. But Adam Priest is a guy. Not is Adam Priest going to be a needle mover? Like, no, he's a smaller guy too, 5.5 feet tall.
And he's got a
Uh,
very heavy Southern accent, which is
very
gonna,
has a Southern accent, but he's a really really good worker. Interesting, like personality, good
yeah,
promo.
I still love that.
Like
We
that's
did the Action Dean thing, and if you haven't seen
oh
it,
yeah.
they did
Stay
this thing. And
here.
he had his
It's my
dog.
bitch dog.
Yeah. Oh god, that was such a good promo.
Yeah.
The thing
I,
that Priest has done that I just loved, he gets signed. He tags with Dynamite Kid Jr. and he has what, two absolutely off the chart barn burner matches with FTR. And you don't have absolute off the chart barn burner matches with super talented opponents without holding up your end, and they held the hell up out of their end. It was
yeah.
great.
And
But
and I
that's a guy. That's a guy that generally like TNA should have like tried to sign, or
or
back in the day would have signed. And would he have been like your world champion? Like not necessarily, but that's a guy like you could have thrown on there on any given Impact, and he would have had like a 10, 15, 20 minute match, like tore the house down. People would have loved him. Like they need guys like that.
or like what they did in the early days, which I know early TNA sucks, but like they used to just bring guys in for a couple weeks and see if they caught on.
Yeah.
And if they did, they'd keep using them. And if they kind of failed, they just move on. Like, I don't know why you can't just like go to indie guys and be like, hey, here's 4 dates. We're going to use you for a month and then we're going to see what we think. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to get people like that. Or even like a good example, I want to use a good example of someone they did the old Impact way with was Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey came in because he obviously wanted to like get TV experience to go to AEW, but they got good work out of him. They got that Will Ospreay match with him on pay-per-view that got them a lot of hype. Like those are the kind of guys they need, but I don't necessarily think a lot of those guys exist on the indies anymore because like especially like if you're super talented like Nick Wayne, like AEW snatches you up immediately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another guy, now that I think about it, that was with TNA and then has left, and I think probably has some sort of Ring of Honor deal, considering he showed up there. But Mance Warner, like that's a guy who had built the name on the
Yeah.
Indies. Like they actually had him in TNA for like a bit. He's gone, and the fact that he showed up frequently a few times now on Ring of Honor, I would think that I don't think it's like a performance deal. Maybe it could be, but it would not surprise me if Tony Khan has given him
I
some sort of
I love Vance Warner
sort of deal.
because
Mhm.
there was an MLW promo he did. He's in the parking lot and he's doing this promo, I think on Jimmy Havoc. And someone comes up to him while he's doing the promo and he stops and he sells the moonshine and he keeps going. And then they did this. It's a hilarious match. I need to find it, but he and Jimmy Havoc did this like this match where like Havoc takes off and they end up like in his apartment. And so they're brawling in the apartment. And so he starts dunking Jimmy Havoc's face in the toilet, and the whole time he's like, "Right in the shitter, baby," like in the Vance Warner voice. And it's just hilarious. So, like, he has that personality you can't like teach someone.
Hmm. Yeah, he's actually pretty good. I'm a fan of him just because like he's not a bad worker, but he's also like wrestling. You need some dynamic personalities. Like
He's
to
in
really
that
like.
territory that you
Mhm.
forgive a lot of stuff. And I think he's getting older. I'm pretty sure he wants to get into a place where he doesn't have to bleed all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, to go back, like let's say like it would conservatively, let's say it would cost you like 50 million to get TNA. I don't think they have the money for the big thing that you would be like, well, it's a lot of money, but they have this TV deal, but it's it's not even a long term like, oh, they
It's
signed a deal
not
for like
worth a
three,
lot
four
either.
years. It's not worth a lot,
I
and
guess you
it's
could
I think
renegotiate. Like, I'm guessing. Okay, so I'm just spitballing here. Don't quote me. I am guessing they'll get renewed and they'll probably get a little more money, but I don't know how much more. I don't think they'll get like it might be like 20 million, which would help, but still probably not enough. But like they've done they've done better than I thought. Like it's kind of fallen off a little bit, and I wonder what's going
it's
to
fallen.
happen as talent. But like I do think they'll get renewed. I think they'll get renewed for at least another year because I think they've done okay.
I think they'll get renewed only because like it's on AMC and you have to see like that's also like what people will go, AEW won't get renewed. It's like, are you aware of what side of outside of live sports? Are you even aware of like generally what if you otherwise aired something on this slot, reruns of Law and Order, or NCIS or
Well,
whatever.
and
Like, are you aware of what?
to draw the demos
Yeah,
they draw.
the are you aware of like what the ratings would usually be? Like, it would be like a quarter of
Do you,
what AEW
or
gets,
do you know what the NBA was getting
and it
because
wouldn't
it
get the
wasn't?
demo. What?
I said, are they aware of what the NBA was getting towards the end there because it was not good? It was barely more than AEW,
Yeah, but outside of like
and their
like
ratings are
live
up.
sports,
Their ratings are up
yeah.
across the board, and like Collision has been doing some insane numbers for like Saturday night. Like they've been doing.
Oh yeah,
I think they've been. There's some weeks where they push on NXT, like a broadcast network TV on a weeknight um, from WWE. Like they push on that some nights.
yeah. They're doing really well, and that's not factoring in Max. People like scoff. It's like, well, acting like no one watches on Max, but that's this whole
And the thing
separate
is,
argument.
like 10 or 20 million to AMC for what TNA brings them, and like the demo they bring them is probably worth it.
That's what I'm getting. Like, it when it first was like the first few weeks, it was getting like I think like 250,000 or something like that.
No,
It's come down a lot.
it went up at first. Like so, it started. I think it started like 175, and it's gotten up to like 250 sometimes, and then like right, because I looked at it and it kind of hovers around 2,000, 200,000, and then what happens is some weeks it seems like they get in a lull and it starts dipping down into like I think they've gone as low as like into the 160s, and then I think they'll do something and then it pops back up to like 210 or something. So like they've been it seems to be about like 170 to 240 is their what I would call their range from what I've seen.
Yeah. It,
Which is
but
better than I thought.
It's been trending down. But still, it's like, well, what else is like AMC
And it's
going to be
summer.
getting
It is summer. Like
at this point?
it is summer too, so we'll be charitable and give them that. And like the Nielsen's been fucking with things, so I don't know if that's
Well,
affected it.
that probably has a little bit, but in fairness, it's like, okay, they probably will get renewed because let's say they're pulling in like 200,000. What would whatever they put on there at that time slot generally get? maybe like 100,000, if that. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it to AMC to have it on their
Yeah.
programming. But
And it's a good chance to advertise your other stuff to them to try and get.
yeah, but it is not a stable, like, long term, like, TV contract.
No, and
So
I
if
would
you're someone,
probably, if I was TNA, I'd honestly like, if the decision was between, hey, we'll do 1 year for 20 and see how it goes, or we'll give you like 3 years for 15 million a year, I'd probably take the 3 year deal. Honestly, if I was them,
This first
I
one, like,
mean,
I'd probably
I'm
take
sorry.
term. I'd probably take term on any deals
I
with
was
them.
having a moment where I was chasing a rabbit trail in my head. The current AMC deal is for a year, right?
I think so. It might go to September. I don't. It's either
So
to
I,
September or
I,
a
I,
year.
yeah, I actually thought initially it was for like less. I thought it was
Well,
like 6 months.
I would think it was a TV deal. Like this is just me spitballing. I would think you would want it to renew so you could renew for like the new TV season. So like September is when you would
so
like want the deal to.
yeah, fiscal year rollover stuff. What I was thinking was they got him on this short term deal at the beginning to see how it went, and then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna bump it up. Like the first AEW deal was pretty low paying,
Well,
and
no,
then
but
they were
the
like, oh, this is working, and so they upped it by a lot.
yeah, but the
It would
first
not shock me if AMC's doing that.
the AEW TV deal, the original TV deal only lasted like 2 months, but I think like the end of like 2019, they already had the bigger TV deal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is, so what if this first one's short? It's Matt, you said it's benefit to them.
Mhm.
It's getting them more than they otherwise would have had. It's worth the money. So after the first, because if they came out and they did a test run with it and it just crashed and burned,
Like
what have they
Wrestling
got?
Society X.
Yeah,
On
what have they got? 6 months, and then they can wash their hands of it. It's like, well, that didn't work.
Oh,
But if it is working,
I bet they have a clause they could have terminated at any time because I mean TNA
yeah,
had
They
no
did.
leverage.
I remember when they signed it, like there was some language which people kind of glossed over, but I mean,
It was like a
I'm not
10
patting
week
myself.
termination clause, I think. I think they had to give
I
them 10 weeks or something like that.
I'm not patting myself on the back, but it come from a legal background, so it's like some a legalese like that. I was like, like that's an interesting clause. It's
yeah,
like people are just like ignoring it, like, oh, whatever. Like
They
I'm
survived
like,
whatever.
they
They
could actually get rid of this in
yeah.
like
And
months.
they have survived that. Like so I think they will get a new TV deal because I think
yeah,
they're doing good enough. And like if you're AMC, you have to be over the moon that you've
oh yeah,
actually.
But who would buy it if it's up for sale with the
Yeah.
toxic debt? The who knows if they would actually do it? Maybe they would do it like if they think like they'd take it away from Tony Khan, but there's already been like reports out there, which it's like it has to be WWE PR going out there because they don't want to be seen since they already lost. They settled, but that's effectively a loss. A lawsuit with MLW for being a monopoly in the wrestling business. They probably don't really want to buy
I'm
TNA,
surprised they
the
settled.
WWE
I'm
TKO.
surprised they settled that suit because I
Uh,
think
I'm
I
not, only because like that starts getting into like let's start discussing what an independent contractor is
yeah,
and
let's
all those
go
sorts
to
of
Discovery.
yes,
but
yes,
see
all the sorts of things that WWE's
yeah,
like, no, 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 we don't want to do that.
Yeah,
but
How much
like
do you want?
cuz
Let me get my checkbook out.
because people do that with UFC. They're like, well, UFC is a monopoly. I'm like, not really, because they don't necessarily fuck with their competition. Their competition are just run by incompetent buffoons. You can't, you can't like with UFC. It's like you can't hold them being like better at what they do than everyone else and like the competition being stupid. Like it would be like in the WCW days when WCW wasn't popular and being like, well, WWE is a monopoly. Be like, well, no, WCW is just poorly
I
run.
I mean the US that's where it starts getting into the concepts of de facto and de jure. So like de jure, like by law, like no, UFC's not a monopoly. De facto, they're a monopoly. and that's how they can get away with paying their talent absolute shit wages. And you have to have Daniel Cormier go out there and be like, basically like acting like, oh, actually I think these UFC fighters like should be thankful for the pennies that they get. It's like, fuck you, Daniel. Like you're back in the day where you actually like got money for your fights. So it's very much like a fuck you, I got mine
Yeah.
scenario. But anyway, uh
But I think like that, I
WWE.
think that kind of monopoly though, you can't like be like, well, they're a monopoly. It's like, yeah, because no one else can be successful. Well, the problem, I guess, with MMA is it's really hard to make money, so there's never going to be a competitor because like because the problem with MMA and competition in that sport is you can't make money very quickly. And it's not like boxing where you can just like fuck your undercard and pay them like $400 a pop. Like MMA fighters you actually have to shell some money out for. Because they typically expect like at least $1,000 to show up, and like boxing, um you can go to like the prelim guys and be like, okay, you're getting 4 rounds, we're giving you $100 a pop, which is pretty standard, and that might even be good. So like, that's why MMA is hard to get off the ground, because you
Yeah.
actually have to pay people some money.
But anyway, you've already seen stories out there that WWE doesn't really want to buy them, and they've expressed that it's like, oh, because they're concerned about the debt.
Well,
So
I have a theory of why I don't think they want to buy them, because I think well, TKO is not like, doesn't they, because again, going back to UFC, they don't strike me as like a company that just acquires like WWE was for a while. I think
mm,
I think they're more strategic about it, and I think why they wouldn't be interested is because why they bought AAA is because AAA bought them into a new market, and TNA really doesn't
yes,
get them into a new market. So there's not like a strategic value to that
no,
for them.
that that strategic value was that they had a part in helping them get the new deal. And I don't know that it's like they negotiated with AMC on behalf of TNA. I don't think anything like that. I think that what they did
They gave
was
them,
that was part of why they had the NXT partnership. They had WWE NXT Star, trying to sub interest in TNA.
well, I
And
think they
then
might have
because once they got the new deal, like
facilitated.
all that dried up. Like that.
I think they might have facilitated. I don't think they might have negotiated. But I'm like, hey, here's this card to we'll just call him Joe. Like, we've worked with Joe before. Joe's a nice guy. Talk to Joe. He'll help you. I think that's what they might have done. They might have gotten them
They
like
could
an
have.
in. But like, yeah, and like if you look at, again, going back to like UFC didn't even show interest in buying Bellator. Because they're like, well, these dumb fucks are going to drive it into the ground. And then when it was driven into the ground, they're like, well, we don't want it. We're not spending money on that. Then PFL bought it. PFL sucks. And they ended up getting most of the Bellator fighters anyway because PFL couldn't afford to pay them. So they're not like they're not
Yeah.
mindless acquirers. They're pretty, I would call them shrewd
Yeah.
about like the decisions they make on that front.
They're sometimes shrewd about their decisions. Um,
Yeah.
and this
But
one is the right call. I mean, it doesn't really gain them anything.
And debt is tricky
they
because
don't want to acquire them, but the idea.
debt can be tricky too because they might not be, you might not be able to just pay it off. Like that can fuck with your credit ratings too if you just buy it and pay the debt off. Like that can actually hurt you. Like, and I just, TKO seems to be like a company that doesn't like running into debt. Like they seem to
Well,
prefer,
they've got a bunch already. I
yeah.
mean, they stacked a whole bunch of it up to do the merger to go from Endeavor to TKO. So, you know, we don't. I don't know where their status on that is
Yeah,
now.
because the problem with corporate debt is if you're a corporation, you're going to be running, you have some debt. Like that's just the reality of it. But like as far as I've seen, like with YouTube channels and stuff, where I've watched, like I think it's the Company Man YouTube channel, is pretty much
Yeah, company man.
debt isn't a problem until it's a problem, and then when it's a problem, it's a really big problem.
Yeah.
But if you can afford your interest payments and stuff, and it's not a huge chunk of your revenue, it's fine. And they might be fine in that sense.
Anyway, they don't. They wouldn't want to acquire it, but that wasn't the strategy. The whole point of them they were angling to get TNA to be like the true number 2 promotion, which was like
Well, no, I think that was all bullshit.
laughable.
I
But
think
they
I
wanted
think
to mess with AEW getting renewed, and they wanted AEW to they wanted to try and cannibalize AEW, and
Yeah.
that failed miserably to the point where Collision, when it gets moved to Thursday nights because it's preempted for like sports events or whatever,
I
and
think
it
that
kicks the shit
was
out of TNA.
I think that was the I think there was more bluster to that than truth, because I saw someone mention it and it rang more true to me, is that they were they were trying to get TNA on TV to take heat off of them for more antitrust actions, is what I think the true motivation was.
Maybe.
But I think fucking with AEW was a happy side effect, but I think there was a lot of like I think there was a lot of bluster. I think there was a lot of bluster, and they told all their like shills to like go with that talking point. But I think like deep down there, like, like maybe we should get more wrestling on TV, so like we don't get into more shit.
Well, in there's also the running or the theory that was around for a while of them being like, well, if we saturate the market with pre-existing wrestling content, and then AEW can't get renewed with whatever happens with um, Warner, then what are they going to do? And it's never mind the fact that places are going to look and go, they were doing how well on TBS and TNT? Well, yeah, how do you get rid of them? Who cares? Get those guys over here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
thinking that they're going to create conflict of
Yeah, but
interest and
these
then being able to leverage that. And it's like, no,
but these are
no, no,
the
no, no.
same these are the same people though that think like TKO can dictate anything to Paramount about the programming they have on there, and like don't realize that Netflix
Oh,
put on a big MMA card when they're partnered with TKO
Yeah.
with like the WWE programming.
people are not right about that, and because I've literally seen them argue. I've seen like, well, like WWE TKO, like they dictate. It's like, over who? Like over Netflix and like ESPN and all that. It's like, yeah, because
No. With what?
signed, like ESPN and Netflix, like they signed the contract. They're paying WWE, and it's like, hold up. I don't think you understand generally how the contractual relationships works. It's like, if I contract with you to provide a good or service, and I'm the one paying you, like, you actually have to give me the good or service that I
Yeah.
paid for.
There is
And if it's actually not of the quality that I want, I can have a big problem with that. And I know that it's like a weird, more nebulous thing, because it's like
there is one
ratings
entity.
and streaming numbers and actual like stuff like that, like ad revenue and all that, versus just like,
There's one
hey man,
entity.
I contracted you to like paint my fence blue,
Yeah.
and you painted it red. Like, that's wrong. Like, that's a problem. There's a lot more like things, but it's also like, TKO does not have the power here. You think that they have the power? They
There's
do
one
not have the
entity.
power.
There's one entity that can dictate like that. The NFL. Because the NFL, like having NFL games guarantees you a shitload of money, but like
Mhm.
you're not doing NFL numbers. And the thing is, like,
No.
Oh no.
especially like, and I don't Paramount especially isn't going to care about wrestling. Like, let's be honest. And for starters, I think if you're Paramount, like I would rather, if I was running a TV station and I had to have a mix, I would rather have AEW paired with UFC than I would WWE with UFC, because I think AEW and UFC have a better crossover, like demographic wise, and I think you get more benefit because you get more. I think more sports fans watch AEW than WWE, so I think you're going to get a better chance of, like, if they're on the same thing, you're going to get more AEW eyeballs on UFC.
Because generally speaking, AEW has more, much like in Japan, you have like New Japan, like, and some of the other like Japanese promotions. Like, it has more of almost like a real sports feel. Not exact.
Yeah.
But it has a little more of it. Whereas you turn on the WWE and it's like skits and, Jey
Yeah.
Uso running back his entrance and fucking Danhausen in 100 different skits per show. It's like this is like child's entertainment. Like
Yeah.
am I watching wrestling or am I watching like a show that's meant for my 3-year-old? What's the difference?
And it's
So it would. I've beaten the drum. Generally speaking, I've beaten the drum about how like WWE TKO is getting paid like $1 billion for some of the content that they do, and the numbers, the streaming numbers and everything don't add up. It's like, oh, people who are adamant, it's like W's gonna get canceled. Gonna happen. It's already happened. It's like, are you telling me that the company that costs like at best a third of what the WWE costs and pulls the same numbers basically, that Paramount or another company isn't going to look at those books and be like, oh, well, they're this company that if we could sign a new deal with them for a third of what we're paying you and they do the same numbers as you, but sure, let's pay like you $1 billion
Yeah,
and like let's fuck with you. No,
and
they're not going to do that.
and the other thing is like because people, especially like those WWE like stands, they really need to get it through their heads how niche wrestling has become. Like, because just pointing it out, the UFC Freedom 250 in America and Latin America alone probably did 6 times the viewers of WrestleMania. And it might have been
It
more.
actually did. It did, and it did poorly. It did like
No, it did. I mean,
I think it did.
It did.
Well, relatively, but it did like 8 million. Sorry, 8 million.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, for MMA, that's a big. It's probably the most watched MMA
That's
show
good,
of all
but
time.
the problem there also is that like people like that problem there was like you had people like Joe Rogan who was like, oh, it's going to get like more than the Super Bowl numbers. It's like the Super Bowl has like over 100 million. Like that's not happening. And he even had like people in the administration. It's like
yeah,
Marco Rubio being
that
like,
part was
1 billion people are going to watch this worldwide. It's like, no.
They probably got, but I mean, here's the thing though. So it's already at like probably about 6 times the viewers, and we don't know the true Mania ones. It could be a little higher than that. But so when you figure in the rest of the world, it's probably going to get up to 7 or 8 times like the numbers of Mania. So like that should show you how far down wrestling has fallen. That they used to be 20 years ago, they were more popular than MMA, and now that like the gulf is massive.
Well, and we don't have a monoculture anymore. We don't have like it's very, very rare that one thing
Football
is a wave that overtakes a large swath of, not to be whatever, but that overtakes a large swath of the cultural zeitgeist.
Just football.
Football does all right. Taylor Swift does for part of it, and then after that, it's politics.
At the moment, if you want to count like worldwide, at the moment,
no, the World Cup, yeah. But I mean, that's once every 4 years. It's like when the Olympics come on.
I know in America that's not a big thing. I actually am a big World Cup fan.
It's bigger than it used to be.
And the fact that it's in America, like there, I think that you will have a little more interest. But like worldwide, but that's every 4 years. So I get what you're saying. Like that.
Well, that's why when people,
unique situation,
which I thought was funny, because when people like, why aren't people coming in like internationally for Mania? It's like, well, because they went to Las Vegas last year and they're probably saving their money for the World Cup. Because they were trying to like be like, well, maybe it's the political situation, and like, yeah, they didn't care for soccer.
Like, well, and frankly, Vegas sucks now.
Oh yeah.
It used to be that Vegas would have low prices on everything because that gets you there, and then they get the money from you for gambling, and then guess what? Here come the venture capitalists, buy them all up, going, well, why are these low? We could make more money if we raise the prices on this, and now Vegas is struggling. And it's like, yeah, so
where are they
going to go?
Do you want me to get on my soapbox, Shad, about the private equitization of
America? You mean the fact that I love the internet phrase that I love for it is the inshitification of stuff. And that's what it is.
I think COVID hurt them in a bad way too, though, because like people want to do outdoor stuff now. They want to go to parks and stuff like that, and I just think Vegas doesn't have the same allure anymore.
No, it's in the desert. It's not
Yeah.
pleasant being outdoors.
And it was kind of a fad. I think it was going to go down too anyway, because like, how many times can you go to Vegas before you get bored?
I just mean that in general. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
I've been to Vegas multiple times. Vegas, and people like we mentioned before, John Moxley, I think he lives there. But it's like Vegas. Vegas to me, it's like that's a long weekend. You go on Friday, you leave on Sunday. Like you don't need more than that. And not even a gambler. It's not as if I go and like gamble it up. But it's like you go and you can gamble if you want. You can like see it, get a couple nice meals, go to one of like the shows, and then it's like,
maybe go to the Grand Canyon. But that's like a day trip.
Grand Canyon is that? Yeah, maybe. I haven't done that, but it's like it's okay. Like I wouldn't do it, but if you've now made it, it's like, well, now it's like even more expensive. It's expensive to go. It's like, well, why do I want to go? Like it's a place that I already felt like I can be here 48 hours and like I've had my fill. Then making it more expensive, it's like, why would I go? I don't need this. I don't have to go. Like there's nothing in Vegas there's nothing that Vegas does that's special to me that I would like need to go out there. So if you've got a private equity this whole shit, that it's like, I don't need to bother.
Yeah, I just like, for me, I would go maybe once, but like I want to go to the beach. Like I want to go. Like that's what I want to do. I want to go sit on the beach. I want to go eat at some cool restaurants. Like I honestly think like, I don't know, I'd rather go to Myrtle Beach. Like it's tourist trappy, but there's more stuff to do. Like you can go see they have the medieval times there. They have the Dolly Parton theater.
Stampede.
Yeah. Like
or go to Pensacola.
Or Nashville. Nashville is awesome. I could go to Nashville all the time. I love
Nashville's. I love Nashville. I've only been once, but it was a lot of fun.
But you could. The thing with Nashville is you could go to music every night in a bar. Like you could go find like.
It's true.
Music every night.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to the beach like next week. But generally I'm not a beach person. And that's because I don't like sand, guys. It's coarse.
Oh God.
And irritating.
Oh God! Look what he did! Look what he did to us!
I will kick you from this call. No, but seriously, like sand does get everywhere.
I'm not really a beach person. That's not a true. Like my wife paid small.
Yeah.
Like
I question when
that's only like a 15-minute drive from our house, and it's actually like the scene, like all the kids from like my oldest daughter's school go to the pool, like we'll go on like the weekend because we paid so much money. It's like you got to go every weekend, and we'll just see them there. So it's like, well, guy, I guess I need to be in like best behavior, like really suck in that gut as I'm walking around the pool. But I'm not a pool person. I'm like, I'm someone that's like, I don't need to get in the water at the beach. I don't need to get in the water at the pool. I'll just sit outside to read a book.
No,
I will, but okay. I had this realization this summer with the whole like, I know I'm heavy, whatever, don't care. That's not the important part. But I had the realization, it's like, you know what the benefit of a pool shirt really is? I don't have to put on as much sunscreen.
Yeah, that's me.
That's really what that's about.
But I'll tell you, I will tell you what kicks ass though. It's not the pool, it's the lazy river. Those are fucking awesome.
As long as people are actually using it for what it's supposed to be used for.
Fuck those people. They need to be.
What were you going to say, Matt?
But yeah,
they shad that beach gonna get whatever body it gonna get.
Yeah, I'm a dad. That's what kind of bod I got. That's just how it be. And I'm going to say cringy stuff.
It's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
Even when I'm down in weight, it's still a disaster because it's the body of a former fat guy, which isn't much better.
I'm still fighting mine, but anyway, we should probably talk about the match.
Yeah, so this is
Chikara.
We forgot all about it.
Well, no, like the thing with TNA is like I do find it an interesting topic because like it is like what do you do with it? Like, and because I didn't want it to be like, and we didn't go there, but everyone wants to go straight to like, lol TNA, which I think is funny, but like I think it is like a legitimate question is like, what do you do with it? Because it's like an oddly placed company that you can't really maneuver easily with.
The joke forever has been like, oh, TNA, like, it will never close because it's been on the danger of closing for like the last like almost 25 years, and it still has maintained. But it's like, no, I think it could close because it's, to me, it's like, what do you do with it? It has no one. It's never had like probably less interest than now, and it's not. I don't.
TNA will
I don't know.
only
I don't know.
TNA you can only kill if another TNA shows up and says there can be only one and cuts its head off.
Yeah, like like the Highlander. The reason I brought up all that stuff about the ratings and everything like that, it's like, sorry, the TV deal and all that, is because like, well, what if TK buys it? Like he's a billionaire, he could easily pay like 50 million and buy it.
Yeah, but
But if you're not buying, you could buy it for like the tape library.
it's not
But
worth
what else are you
50.
gonna do it? It's not worth 50 million. But what otherwise? Why would you buy it? It's like, well, if it has like it had this solid TV deal, then maybe it's worth it for the TV deal if you already
Yeah,
have like
but
a 3-year deal locked in. Because hey, Tony
Welcome
Khan has
to AEW Impact on
well, no,
AMC.
like Tony Khan has Ring of Honor, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I
It's
don't.
like maybe this is how Tony Khan gets like Ring of Honor, like a nice TV deal that's in place for like 2 hours.
I
You can incorporate TNA and Ring of
I
Honor and
don't.
just have like 2 hours to do this, but
I
you
don't
you
think.
don't you don't because it's not a stable TV deal that's long term that would even be worth it
I
for Tony Khan.
I
If you,
I
in
don't.
theory,
I so why I don't think he would be interested is like I think I'm not gonna say he regrets buying Ring of Honor because I think there is a certain sentimentality to it, but I think Ring of Honor's been a headache for him, and I think
Well,
because
I
I think it's a money loser, and like he hasn't been able to get it on TV. Like I think he would have bought it again because, like I said, I think it has a sentimental place for him, and he's willing to take the loss on it. But I also think in his head, if you said, "Hey, do you want to buy TNA?" and he'd be like, "No," because Ring of Honor is already like a drain on my pocketbook, and I actually
well,
like Ring of
I don't
Honor.
know.
it
I don't
also
know.
locked up
God,
the Ring of Honor uh, video library,
Yeah,
yeah.
which I think that is was probably more why, and then having it around as an entity to use, sure. Now, if
I
we want to make the arguments for the TNA video, then I'm going back to what was it? Joe versus Styles versus Daniels on that what was it, TNA Unbreakable from '05. It's like, can I just buy the one match? Would that be okay?
I mean, there's some good stuff. Like I think I have a soft spot for it. I don't know. It might be cringe now, but like I thought Joker Sting was legitimately entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Matt?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
about Ring of Honor, like you have to actually like you got to study like Tony Khan. Like it is to me like obvious. Like it's not surprising he bought Ring of Honor. Like it's obvious he was a huge Ring of Honor
Yeah,
fan. Like
Yeah.
to the point where like you could even see like some of the guys that he has given like solid pushes
yeah,
to on
ROH.
AEW programming. It's because like I don't even think it's like, oh, because they did well in like NXT or whatever. It's because like they had good spots in Ring of
Yeah,
Honor. Like the whole like look, he may never wrestle again. God love his soul. But Adam Cole, it's like I have not historically been a big Adam Cole fan.
I'm still not.
Uh yeah, I've gone through with AEW. I've gone through periods where I was like I didn't really like him, but it's like, you know what, after he came back from his injuries, it's like, you know what? I can appreciate you. You know, and then now he's like he may never work again. Probably won't,
He shouldn't.
unfortunately. He
I would
probably shouldn't.
I would put the disclaimer on he might, but he shouldn't.
But Tony Khan put Adam Cole in the main event of AEW's probably biggest show
Yeah, he
in
did.
Wembley.
Yeah, he did.
And if he had not had injuries which had sidelined him, I think it's very I think that the answer is obvious that he would have put the title on Adam Cole by this point. He is a unabashed Ring of Honor fan, so it's not surprised that he bought it. I don't know if it's been a money loser just because he probably didn't pay that much for it.
Well, I meant
And
running it.
to merchant,
I don't think it sustains itself because like I don't think because like they don't the TV's usually it might sustain itself because they do a lot of the TV before AEW shows. I don't think it sustains itself though. I think it's probably like a net loser because like I think it's hard without TV, and I don't think. I mean,
I
Honor
think
Club probably brings in a little money, but I don't think enough to like pay for like the ops.
if that the rumor has always been like he's like inquired about getting TV. I don't know how hard he's pressed for it. I think that to him it's like he would like TV and it makes sense to have TV for Ring of Honor, but it's probably like he wants a good deal. It doesn't be like it could be like a TNA deal where it's like maybe like 10 million a year for like this show and that would be fine. But I think it's probably more like, well, what are you going to put it on? And there's been all sorts of rumors like, oh, it could be on Tubi, whatever. It's like, I don't know, but
Yeah, but like
Could be.
Evolve's on Tubi and no one fucking watches Evolve or talks about it.
no. I actually just found out the other day that I think it's on like what is it on Vice? Like I was up late I forget what night it was, but it was like the last like 3 weeks. I was up late one night watching stuff. I was the only one in the household. Like I was still awake watching stuff, and like Vice. I randomly turned on Vice, and like MLW is on. Like, oh my god, I apparently get MLW.
Yeah.
Like it's on like a Thursday night at like 1 in the morning. I don't know.
Right.
I think
It's weird.
I think that Tony Khan is a Ring of Honor fan. Like, doesn't make sense. It made perfect sense to me that he bought Ring of Honor.
It's
Would
a
he buy
passion.
TNA? I don't think he would. I don't think he would unless it's like, maybe this is how I get Ring of Honor or a TV
Yeah.
deal. But he won't do that if it's like I got to pay $50 million for that.
Because
and
I
it's a
think
nebulous time slot.
that's kind of what I'm saying. What I was saying in roundabout ways. I think he probably business wise shouldn't have bought Ring of Honor, but he did that out of love for that product and like keeping it alive. And I think TNA makes even less sense business wise, and he probably doesn't have that same attachment for it that he would for ROH. So I don't think he would be interested. And the thing is, like, I think if you're buying a wrestling company, you want the brand, you want the title belts, you want the TV deal, and you want the talent. And he doesn't need title belts because God forbid if they add another title belt, Tony, I'm going to find you and I'm going to steal them. The TV deal is kind of whatever. Like the brand is toxic as shit, and you've got like 2 talents that you could probably sign anyway if you wanted them.
Well, he could have probably at some point.
Yeah, I don't think
Like,
Nick
if you
Namath is like a good fit for AEW, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't sign it. So, okay, so we decided to stick with Chikara this week. So we've actually done the main event of High Noon. We did that like a long time ago, which is Eddie Kingston versus Mike Quackenbush. This is the opener of the pay-per-view proper. There was like a pre-match show, but this is like the opener of the show proper. So this is the Young Bucks versus Fire Ant and Soldier Ant of the Colony. This has been on my list to do for a long time because I have like a real fondness for this match because I think it's a bit of a forgotten gem of a match.
It is a great match.
It is.
Let me preface. Fire Ant is better known to AEW fans as Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And Soldier Ant is who was with WWE before he had a very ingracious like exit where Ronda Rousey basically claimed like he put hands on her.
Yeah.
And I got fired and for internal investigation. So I guess WWE was like, there's some weirdness there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I don't want to believe that, but I also kind of believe it because wasn't his brother like
his brother was
a real bad pervert? Like
he might have been a pedophile. I don't remember though.
That was the allegation that I don't think it's less. I don't think it's an allegation. I think like
Rory Gulak, I think is his brother.
Rory, yeah, I think he may have even been found with having like incriminating
Yeah, it was bad. I don't remember
evidence.
though. I think
Yeah.
I think it might have been the P word that he was, but like, well, sorry. Um,
Yeah.
sorry, I was
In
thinking.
possession of CSAM, we'll put
Yeah,
it that way.
I was thinking of a show. I can't remember the name of it now. It was a BBC show where it was like a vampire and a werewolf and like a ghost living together.
Being human.
Yeah, being human. And the
Okay.
American version one is good, but like for some reason they I don't remember what the episode was, but they spray painted pedophile on there on the side of their garage and they misspelled it and the werewolf's like, who misspells pedophile? That was a good show. I should watch that again. Um but yeah, so this is like the opening match. Now we're gonna get into some details here. So this is more lucha style rules. There's not going to be tags. And then Chikara had this interesting system where if you wanted to challenge for the Campeonatos de Parejas, which was their tag titles, you had to win 3 matches in a row. So you had to get 3 points. If you lost all of your points. So you had to get 3 wins in a row. Now
Yeah.
there is some interesting things. So if you did like a 4 corners elimination match and you eliminated all 3 teams, you would get 3 points for that. Um,
It was actually a very good concept.
yeah, I
Actually
think
really
so.
liked it. It was something that actually
It made
made
it
them stand
hard.
out. Yeah. Well, it also made them stand out and was unique.
Yeah,
By the way, Brad,
And,
they did say in the course of this match that it being lucha style means that one person going to the floor was as good as a tag.
yeah.
yeah.
So
And then
I appreciated them saying that out loud.
the champs, because the colony will come out of this and they'll challenge Team Fist, which is Chuck Taylor and Johnny Gargano at this point, I believe.
Okay.
Was it? It wasn't.
Granted,
Was
Kuma
it? It
wasn't in the
wasn't.
company, and Icarus was doing, um, Icarus was doing solo stuff. But so this starts comedy heavy because actually this match is a really interesting character study of Soldier Ant, who's a joke that only says "Sir, yes, sir" is the only thing he's allowed to say, and he has a
Constantly
very
like saluting.
yeah. And I liked when Matt was trying to get him to stop saluting, and he would just put the other arm up, and he would just get more and more angered by it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he like Soldier Ant would do this, and Matt Jackson like pull it down. He'd be
and just the other arm
like,
goes up.
And I did like
it's
they did like a
yeah,
double flapjack to Matt, and then he salutes before he
yeah.
goes to.
It starts off as a really just a good comedy match,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put the pedal to the gas, and it just
Yeah.
goes off.
Yeah. It's got a progression. It starts as comedy, works into the match, keeps a little bit of comedy as you go. I was I want to pick my words correctly here. I enjoyed seeing, I guess, the precursor to the Meltzer driver. But frankly, I like that the version they did in this better than the Meltzer driver.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But in watching this, it's the thing that stands out to me is you can see, because this was, how long ago was this?
This is 2010 or 2011.
Okay, so 15, 16 years ago. Even at that point, how good the Bucks were at not only doing, tandem spots. And when I say tandem, I don't mean doing the exact same thing at the exact same time with each other, but doing things in combination with each other. But how good they were at kind of directing traffic, keeping the flow of a match going. Because they feed in, they feed out, they do stuff, they sell big. They do
They
a
stooge for the
lot.
comedy really well. They stooge for Soldier
Yeah.
Ant really well.
Yeah. There's just no ego there, and it's like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, we can do that. and it's really fun. Who'd have thought, right?
So there's some things I thought were cool. Like so, it's a very small detail and you might not catch it, but it's Soldier Ant, and I liked when he saves Fire Ant from a pin and he rolls him to the apron because he's being a good military man and helping his buddy out.
I didn't take that particular part away. I just thought that was him just getting him out the way so he couldn't get pinned. But
And then Orange Cassidy's just doing crazy shit in this match. Like the stunner he did, I thought was awesome.
the Stun Dog Millionaire he did,
Yeah,
he was a lot more crisp here.
the dive he did over the top, like after Soldier Ant did the baseball slide, he kind of did the flip over the top rope with that limited amount of space. This is also around the time, I need to find the clip, but they were at like this like industrial complex, and they were brawling on the outside, and he climbs this like steel girder that you really can't climb, and he did like a dive off of like climbing that.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
And like he's got a lot of personality too for being under a mask and completely covered up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you give the Bucks a lot of credit, which they deserve for their crowd control. But I was thinking, you really see the value of veteran teams in this match because Fire Ant and Soldier Ant had been tagging probably for 4 or 5 years at this point on the regular basis, because they also like work really well together. They you can tell when a tag team has learned to speak the same language, and they kind of just know by experience where their partner is at all times.
Yeah, they know what's coming next. They know who's going to do what, and they feed into each other so well.
And I thought the hot tag was cool, where they did the monkey flip, and then they kind of like mess it up, and Soldier Ant just used it to dive onto Fire Ant for the tag. I thought that was cool as shit.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is like to go to that point about how veteran tag teams work with it, like the timing of these teams, like when they're working together and the sequences that they did was fantastic. Like,
oh yeah,
it's what I get what you're saying, where it's like, yeah, oh, I know where my partner's going to be. It's like, yeah, but and this is good. Not to take it all the way back to the beginning of the episode, but it's like this, they did rehearse stuff. This is like rehearse, but it's like, like sequences. Maybe you work out sequences you want to do, or things that you want to do, or just in general, it's like, like, oh, if I did this move, like I can count on my, tag team partner to like work in tandem with me. And just the timing and the execution of stuff was like so good on both parts. The Bucks again, they don't get the credit that they deserve. People who like just like, oh, they're just like super kick merchants. It's like, you have no idea. You haven't watched jack shit, because watch the Bucks in this match and see how innovative they were and how their timing is so crisp and everything is so tight.
And again, how I talk about
they are,
how their creativity and how to thwart their own offense, because the end run is like a perfect example of that, because I give them credit for the strength of doing like the fireman's carry on both of them and that not being an issue. But so what they do is they go to do their finish, and he lifts. Soldier Ant is on the bottom and Fire Ant is on the top, because that's important. So they do a move on Fire Ant, and then they go to do their finish run, and he goes to do his move, and he gets the knees up, and the other Buck doesn't realize that, and he goes for the moonsault to finish it, and Soldier Ant moves and like rolls him up for the pin, which I thought was a really good end for this. And it's a good match when the crowd like jumps to their feet when like the finish happens. But I thought that the end was really good.
Yeah,
whole thing's really good.
This is a great match.
Oh yeah,
an absolute great match.
Yeah. And the commentary was pretty good because it was Leonard and I think it was Bryce. No, it was Loud.
Really?
No. It was Gavin. It was Gavin and
okay.
Leonard. It was a little off because I think this was an early iPay-per-view. I think it's better if you get the DVD copy
Okay.
because I think they
Was
audio corrected it.
yeah, was the audio like low for you guys? I had to turn like my
Yeah,
volume
It
but
was, yeah, it was down.
I think
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it was iPay-per-view kind of had it a little weird.
Yeah, one of those things where it's like the sound as it was live is not great, but they go back and remaster it or clean it up a little bit.
For the DVD, I think probably.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this is also a good match. If you buy into the propaganda about the Bucks, you should watch this because they sell well, they're healing well, like they're doing creative, like different stuff.
One of the things I love about their healing is the fact that there's not ego in it. They will stooge off for if they're having a match with you, they'll stooge off for it. And it's frankly, I think that's great because there's too many people get too into their own head and it's like, oh, I don't know
I
if I could.
I think a lot of indie vets, just to give credit, would like totally shit on doing the saluting spot.
Yeah, probably. But
Which I don't
that's
which I don't
gimmick that had history in that company.
but
Like there's
but like that you also don't lose anything from that because it would be annoying.
yeah.
I did like
I mean,
for double teams, I liked when so Soldier Ant gets like the big body slam and Fire Ant comes in and he starts elbow dropping the guy while Soldier Ant does this very long, deliberate march and then like does a diving headbutt on him. I thought that was
yeah.
funny. And I do like about
a
the ants is if you grab them by the antlers, they sell.
you grab the antenna.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The the thing that I get out of this match is just number one, these guys knew who they were working for. They knew the crowd that they were reaching out, they were catering to. And so doing goofy stuff and doing callbacks and doing things like that all fits. Like it all makes perfect sense. That's straight up just part of this is where you're working. This is why we do it, and it's another reason why there's enough cases that I look at people who decide they want to be shits about it, and it's like, look, man, if you go to WWE and don't work a WWE style, they're not going to like it. If whatever company you go to, there's probably, unless they're bringing you in specifically to work that way, the folks that watch it have a certain expectation. And here, these guys have a certain expectation, and that certain expectation is there's going to be some goofy stuff.
I think this
There's
would
going to
have
be some silly stuff. There's going to be some callback.
I think this would have worked in front of most any crowd as long as they had some existing knowledge of the colony.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is having the existing knowledge.
Because the comedy isn't like the comedy isn't long and the comedy isn't extreme. The comedy is very character driven. And I think like even
Yeah.
like I'll even say like a crowd Shad probably worked in that would be a little more once their traditional wrestling. If they understood like the Soldier Ant character, that would probably get laughs out of them because it's annoying the heel.
Well, and the whole thing behind it is that the other reason I think that it works is that it is not it's not comedy. It's goofy and it's silly, and it fits with the characters in play, but it's not comedy.
It's character work more than anything,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, and so it fits. It belongs. There's enough cases of comedy writers being brought in to punch stuff up and then it doesn't work. Why? Because people aren't here to see your stand-up act. That's not what this is about.
Because even like the one Matt did, which is funny, is also kind of like, well, I'm dead. I might as well do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to do, so here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did like the way that I thought I thought where it also worked well is they used the lucha rules really well in this. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just an attached little thing. Like they made good use of if someone was on the floor, they were in there working, and I thought the Bucks adjusted really well to that.
It keeps a flow going, and this regular flow keeps something happening all the time. And there's not a like dead spot in the action where everybody just kind of falls down and there's nothing going on. Um, so by keeping the flow going, keeping that up, then that means that it keeps people engaged. They're still interested. You've got down periods where they can be excited or they got a chance to catch their breath, but by keeping it going, you keep the engagement, you keep the interest. You don't lose people because it's like, oh well, they're gassed, so I guess they're down, or we have to do the iceberg tag. Um,
And the other thing
because yeah,
about this match that I think really is a strength I still feel Chikara had is match lengths, because this match was like 13 minutes.
oh yeah,
It didn't overstay its
Yeah.
welcome because when
mm-mm.
I went to the live show, I looked back at what the times were. So I think it was like an 8 match show. Two matches went longer than 10 minutes, and the main event went like 16 minutes. And then another match went like 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people might poo poo on that, but I'm like, no, things don't overstay their welcome. It's nice.
Oh yeah, you don't beat it into the ground that way, and you don't draw it out to where people don't want to see anymore.
But yeah, I thought this was an enjoyable match. I'd been waiting to share this for a long time. The whole show is
Yeah.
actually really good. I wish the Green Ant Tursus match was on here because it was online somewhere I could find it, because that one's really fun, because that has one of my favorite endings where he beats Tursus with like a Texas cloverleaf. And if you don't know, Shad, Tursus
Okay.
is a really big guy, and
Okay.
so Green Ant's trying to turn him, and he won't
Yeah.
turn because he's this really big guy. So Green Ant just starts literally like just kicking the shit out of him until he'll turn for the move,
Okay.
which is a really cool ending. And like the whole story going into it was like they had wrestled numerous times and Green Ant just could not beat him, and then he finally beats him. Was kind of
Fair
the
enough.
payoff to the match. And then there's I think it's Spectral Envoy, which is Hallowicked, and Ultraman is Black against Tim Dunstan. I don't remember who the other guy was, but that one had they tossed Tim Dunst through a off the top rope through a chair, and it was one of those the chair breaks in the opposite way that it's supposed to fold.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, they put him through the chair, but I think the whole High Noon show is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it got a lot of praise at the time. I think it would be regarded as like one of the best shows of the tens if like it was something other than Chikara and not so niche.
Oh yeah, if it was more widely known.
Because I mean, it's been
That
a
that can be a pretty tall mountain to climb.
yeah. Because I know we did it a long time ago, but the Eddie Kingston and Mike Quackenbush match off of this show is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Eddie's Eddie's promo for it is so good.
And I think the other thing that needs to be said, because we said this about the main event too, that I think even Ring of Honor never pulled off a lot of times, is I think the other thing that struck me is like it felt big league. Like it was obviously an indie, but they captured a way that this match felt like it was like big league.
Mm.
Like the way they shot it, the way like the crowd was, like you could tell it was a small crowd, but I was like, oh yeah, this feels like it's a big show, like from a big
But the crowd
promotion.
was hot for it.
Yeah,
They were into it, so that that it makes a big difference.
yeah. But yeah, I thought this was great. I'd probably give it 3 3/4 stars if
It's
I
probably
was
fair.
if I was gonna star it.
Doling out a rating.
Yeah.
I'd have to see. Maybe I'd watch it again more closely. I almost would go like 4. Like I really loved it.
I
I
had a lot of fun watching it. I just don't. I don't usually put star ratings on stuff.
Yeah,
My
I just tried to quantify it for people, and I did. It did take me a long time to get through this because I kept rewinding it for spots because stuff was cool.
yeah, my personal rating process is okay. Did this match set out what it set out to do? Was it entertaining in doing that? Did the folks in it do a good job? And then I'll like it more and more the more it draws me in. There's plenty of stuff that's technically great, but it does not draw me in, so I don't care for it. You know,
Ooh,
Zack Sabre Jr. is a great technician, but he don't draw me in.
I
Sorry.
forgot. My phone just downloaded Guild Wars 1 for mobile. That just came out. That's coming out to I think on Thursday.
Okay.
Because I guess they decided they were gonna do this HD remake of it at the end of last year, and then it got a bunch of players. They're like, "Oh, we should like put new content in there." And hey, this works on mobile now, so Guild
Don't
Wars
y'all
1's been
have
getting a lot of
phones?
yeah, it's been getting a lot of love, and they just announced Guild Wars 3 last week. Guild Wars 1 is better than 2 though, because Guild Wars 1 is fun because you get all these skills and you can just do all this like weird stuff with your character.
Mm-hmm.
But it is old now. I think that game's like 20 something years old now. Like 2004, 2005, I think.
Oh, dude, I don't even know. That was that. I remember it being around, but
Yeah.
I avoided a lot of MMO stuff.
But that is it for this week, folks. I think we'll be here next week. We might not be. It'll depend. It's 4th of July week next week, so we'll probably discuss.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll probably discuss if we're gonna do a show. Don't be surprised either way, but we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
There's some other things on the horizon that we've been talking about doing. We've been talking about doing Terry Funk month at some point because there's a lot of Terry Funk stuff out there. Because Matt found us some like was it 70s or 80s All Japan tags with him and Dory?
Early 80s, like All Japan. I found like 3 tag matches where it's basically the Funks versus
Is it Brody
I
and
think
Hanson?
Hanson Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of problems involved.
Excellent.
But yeah, thank you for joining us as always. We appreciate everyone that stops by to say hello. So thank you for watching. This has been Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in 3 Corners, and you've been in the 4th.